In this video, we're going to look at SQL queries with the having keyword in them. So here I am on the W3 school site where they have a version of the NorthWind database that you can try. And this is their sort of example on the SQL having. And so this is just their main page for that. Now here's the actual trying of the example, and here's their example. So they have customers from, I keep this last tab open so I can just look at a table in general without losing anything that we have in the box. So this was the customers. So they have altogether 91 customers, and here are the fields of customers, and one of them is country. And so they are counting the number of customers. So they have a count of customers. So it's an aggregation. So having has something to do typically with aggregation and group by. And so we're counting customers from different countries. So count of customer ID, country from the table customers. We're grouping by the country. So we're finding out how many customers are from each country, but we don't want them all. We want only those countries with a customer account of 5 or more. So that's their example, and we can run it. And I usually like to name these aggregation fields because they just get some auto-generated name, and I typically don't like it, so I'll call it the customer account like that and run that. And then it just gives me a better I like the result better with the sort of named field. Okay. So there we have that. Okay, so that was their example with having. The next thing I want to show is that having is like where if you have group by. So I'm going to just rewrite this query sort of in as a with a subquery. All right, so that's just my next. So this isn't having, but this is going to be to show that having is sort of like where. So I have a subquery in here, which was doing that main thing of select the count customer as ID, or sorry, count customer ID as customer count. So I'm counting the customers and renaming it as done before, and also grabbing the country from the customers, and we're grouping by the country. So that's mostly what we did here. Count the customers, get the count of the customers and the country from customers, and group by the country. So that's pretty much the same, but I made that a subquery, and then I said, get me everything from that table where the customer account was greater than 5. And so we see here that there are 5 results: Brazil, France, Germany, UK, and US. And here with this other sort of subquery and where version, or Brazil, France, Germany, UK, and US. Okay. So it's the same, logically the same. So I just wanted to sort of point out that having is where when you have group by. All right. Then I wrote just slightly more complicated one. Didn't get too fancy, but I wanted to know our orders that I almost said who are our best customers, but I didn't go over to the customer table, so I can't tell you that. I want to find out big orders. So I joined order details and products. So again, this last tab is just for peeking at the tables. Order details is what products are in each order. So we can see here order 10248 had three products in them, and here was the quantity of those products. They ordered 12 of product 11, 10, product 42, 5 of product 72. And then over in products, we can determine the price. So I think one of them was product 11, and that is $21. Okay. So those are the two tables. I'm joining order details on products. And of course, they share product ID. Order details has product ID, and products has product ID. So that's what I'm joining here. Order ID. So that's what I'm going to group on. I'm looking at, or I'm going to identify the order by the order ID. I'm summing quantity times the price. I don't need the table names, even though they're from two different tables. I don't need the table names because the field names, the column names are unique. So it knows what I mean. So, and I'm renaming that as total because I don't like it to say expression 1000 or whatever it's going to do on its own. I'm pulling it from order details inner joined on products. On order details, product ID is products product ID. So that's the natural join of those two ID fields being equal. We're grouping by, so we're doing some aggregation of summing. And so I don't want the sum of all of the things for all possible orders, but I want it grouped by the order ID. And then I'm bringing in that. So I'm not doing it the subquery way, I'm doing it the having way. And I am asking, like, I want big orders. So I'm asking for the orders to be bigger than 3,000. And so there are my results. So I can change this. I can make the having very small anytime it's more than $1. And you see it's 196. So there were 196 orders. So there are 196 order IDs. Even though I'm in order details, over in order details, there will only be 196 unique order IDs. And so then I can just play with this number. And I chose 3,000 because that's out of the 196, only 34 of them were bigger than 3,000. Okay, so that's it for this one. I wanted to work through their example of a query with having to show what it means that it's sort of uh, it's sort of the replacement of where if you're doing some group by stuff, and then just sort of write one of my own. So thanks for your attention.